Do you want a snack but not sure what to get? Maybe you want a protein cookie. But which brand tastes the best? You could try a couple and put your taste buds through the paces. Or you could have fun watching us do it for you on Sample Saturday. For today's Sample Saturday, we have Chet with us from Colonial Beekeepers with honey. Now, Chet, you have brought local and you said regional, isn't that right?
That's correct, right. Yeah, I just wanted to, I enjoy this opportunity to be able to kind of share what the CBA is doing, what it's all about, but also to kind of share the insights on what the honey and the importance of it is, health-wise. It's very good. So it's a wide variety of honeys that are out there, but right up front, probably the most important aspect, if you're looking to get the medical aspects of it, allergy sufferers, now we're not in any way medical, experts, but the evidence is clearly there. Studies, have shown that people have, improved symptoms from allergy relief. So local honey is the most important, and local honey is defined as within a 50-mile radius. The bees are all collecting pretty much the same forage anywhere here in the local area. We all have the same, plants. Regionally it begins to diversify as you get closer to the mountains, or on the other side, of the mountains. So it's all very unique, but it's also those same allergens is where that local honey comes into play. The bees are foraging from those things, and that's what's providing you that.
Now, what's the difference between regional and local?
So regional would be defined as outside of that 50-mile area, which, to call your stuff local honey, you have to be within 50 miles. So if you go to a lot of times, arts and crafts places, and people are coming in from all over, selling their stuff, that's more of a regional honey than it is a local honey. Right. So it's very important to, kind of look at the label, and see what area it's from. Okay. And another aspect is you want to get raw. You want to get raw honey. And basically what raw honey is simply we collect it, we extract it from the frames, and then we just basically run it through a screen initially, and that's to get the legs, the wings, the bodies, and various other things that during the
stuff people might be fun and eating.
But every now and then you'll find unfiltered honey, and then you look down on the bottom and you'll see legs and wings and body parts, and there's nothing wrong with that. Anything a bee makes is usable and edible by humans. That includes the propolis, which is like a glue, caulking that they use within the hives to kind of seal up cracks and, block out drafts and things like that. It includes the wax that's included, and there's some in there. The honey, of course. So
can you and I know, like, I've been to Africa and different places like that, and I'll see over there especially lots of honeycomb inside of their honey. That is an option. What's the purpose of that? Is it? Do you eat the honeycomb?
Yeah, you can. You can chew it up and you can swallow it. Some people, just chew it up to get the extra, honey out of it. As a little kid, they used to sell honeycomb, to where you can just get, little pieces and chew on it. Now, I didn't. I usually, dispatch the wax after it was done. But yeah, you can eat it. That's cool. Health-wise, I don't know if there's any additional medical benefit myself personally. Yeah. Because, I probably should say right up front, I am not an expert beekeeper. I'll put that right up front. No, I've been at this for about 7 years. Okay. I've been doing this. And of course I got a career, I got family,
What did you do prior to this?
I was active duty Air Force. I retired after 22 and a half years, and I work as Department of the Army civilian. I've been doing that for about 14 years now. Okay. But
cool. Wow. Nice.
But yeah.
Well, thank you for your service.
No, yes, thank you. I loved almost every minute of it, except for that 1 year in Thule, Greenland. Didn't care for that. But other than that, I really, really enjoyed my career. So we'll go ahead and get started on some of these, so you can kind of see what they're all about. So this first one here. So this is the last of our last year's collection out there at the Poquoson Museum.
Okay.
And what's really cool about the Poquoson Museum is one of the things right adjacent to our bee enclosure, our apiary, is the Master Garden program.
Okay.
And so they train all the master gardeners. It's beautiful. It's really nice. Right now, this time of the year, it's absolutely beautiful. They're doing a dynamite job there. But the bees forage there. You'll see our girls all over the place, all over that master garden. But they're also out collecting. They'll go as far as 3 to 5 miles out for forage.
Oh, wow.
Now, they typically do that in the summer when forage becomes harder to get. But this time of the year, this is known as the flow. The girls are just going crazy, absolutely crazy. And that's what this is.
Now the flow does equate to the entire yellow coating that's on your vehicles? That's called the flow?
Well, that's part of it. That's your as a beekeeper, that's like, I got to get some more boxes on. I got to get some more frames in there because the girls are going crazy.
Really nice.
Right, exactly. Right. So
is it a good time of year to start a beekeeping, or is it a bad time of year?
Good question. So what I would say is that we're right on the verge. In fact, the CBA is offering beekeeping class. It's free, by the way. But
I know we're going to find George here soon enough. Beekeeping class.
So that wraps up at the end of April. Then they're also doing what's called a group buy. So the club asks everybody, how many queens do you need? Because you need a queen to kind of get your colony going. And so by, I would say, first part of May is ideal. I mean, that's when everything really starts cranking. That's when your colonies are growing. That's when, the forage is good, and the girls are out there just going crazy. So I would say this is a good time to kind of get your feet wet and start moving in that direction.
And how many boxes did you need to get started?
Well, you can start off basically with 2 boxes. You can start off with 2 boxes.
They know where I'm going with it.
I'm
already thinking.
You might as well just get 10 boxes and just let it go. And then we're going to have local honey advertising for sale here at Fit Body.
Well,
we'll call it something.
I mean,
Fit Honey.
And that's something that the club can help you with. That's one of the things we do. We, people that are interested, and they say, hey, I would like to host a hive in my yard. I don't want to take care of it, but you're welcome to put one here. Yeah. And then typically the beekeeper will share a percentage of whatever's, collected from that. So, that could be, an option, especially with you. You have a considerable amount of forage area, and you're in a good.
And we back up right to woods, and lots of stuff. So.
And that's great. Yeah, and bees get it not only from flowers that you see, but they also get forage from trees, which a lot of people are not aware of.
Did not know that.
Yeah, so it's a horizontal and vertical, feeding for bees.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
All right. So this is from the last bit of what we had from last year. In Virginia, you can only collect, and this is why Virginia is not a big honey producing area, because we get one good flow, and that's in the springtime, and that's really it. Whatever the bees collect in the fall with those things that bloom in the fall time frame, we typically just leave that for the bees, because that's got to get them through the winter.
Okay.
But in the spring, we have no problem stealing as much as we can get. So this is the last of it. So that's why at this time of the year, a lot of people don't have local honey, because July probably was when they last collected. And so basically their stores are running low depending on.
So you're always a year behind.
Yeah, almost. Yes. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Almost like a fine wine.
Exactly. So what I'm hoping to do during this is just kind of give you a sense of the different flavors. Honey's just not honey. It's the same basic element. But what the bees get into will give you some indication of what
we're just gonna dip into, right?
Yep, just gonna dip
Stirring
in.
sticks.
Yeah, just kind of twizzle it around. Yeah, and I can tell you, we're gonna be a little sticky by the time this is over. There's just no way around it.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing you'll notice about this, other than the flavor, just kind of let it swirl around in there. Now, one of the things that you'll notice.
That's so different from what you normally get in a store.
Now, this one, all honey will crystallize. And this is an important point, especially if you buy, local honey, you haven't used it in a while. And that's, you'll feel it's a little grainy. Mm-hmm. So all you do is you put it in hot water. Not the honey itself, but the whole bottle, and that will break up and melt out that crystallization. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not bad. All honey will eventually crystallize. So
what would be I don't know if you know the answer, but what's the cause of the crystallization in the honey?
Crystallization is basically what happens. There are small particles in there. There's like, pollen and a variety of other, contaminants in there. Well, not really contaminants, they're natural elements. Yeah. But so crystals will form around that. Okay. And then it will continue to grow. So it's almost like kind of like a snowflake where a piece of dust, collects moisture, and then more and more collects on it as it comes down. But there's nothing wrong. It doesn't mean that the honey is bad. They've retrieved honey from Egyptian tombs that was 5,000 years old and still edible. So wow, yeah. So that's
sure that came with a cost.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's from last year's batch. I don't know
if I want to be stealing King Tut's honey.
Yeah, that's worse than Montezuma's revenge, right? All right, so we collected this Sunday. So the girls, we slacked. The girls got ahead of us. And they started building this comb on top of the frames in between the two boxes. And that's a bad thing. So I'm admitting this on camera, so my fellow beekeepers will be like, you knucklehead,
you messed up.
You blew it on that one. Yeah. But fortunately, we got ahead of it, and the girls didn't swarm. So we got more boxes on there, gave them more room so that they can expand. So we scraped this off. But as you'll see down here, that is the first touch
honey of the year.
The first, this is the first. Let me try to get to it. There's nothing wrong with that, getting honeycomb on you. In fact, I'm just gonna move that out of the way. There you go. And this is like unfiltered. This is raw. This is like straight out of the.
Oh, look, I got an ant with it too.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of those critters in there. They're edible.
That's true.
They're like lemon drops.
I already ate crickets, so it's all the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, try to get as big a glob as you can on there. But what you'll notice is that the flavor is different from last year's.
It's more subtle.
Same bees, same everything. But what they're getting into.
I like that. It's good.
Yeah, it doesn't get any more raw than that right there.
Yeah, I love that. That's good. That's like I say, when I go to Morocco, I get honey from there, and I love bringing it back because it's just the flavor. Like you said, every place is different.
Every place is different. In fact, the best honey so far I've ever had is from the Eastern Shore, and it's called goldenrod honey. And it's very unique. There's an island about a mile off of the Eastern Shore that has nothing but goldenrod. And so there's a apiary up there. Their bees fly a mile across the channel to that island. And so they're almost all exclusive forage that they're collecting is goldenrod, and it is dynamite.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of tough to get up there to get that.
Chip.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so this is still considered local honey. This is from the Gloucester area, and it's from a good friend of mine. He's our bee Yoda. There are like master beekeepers, and then there's like Yoda.
It's just crazy how the flavors just change.
Yeah, and again, it's now a lot of his hives are in wooded areas. Mm-hmm. So this is a lot of vertical forage. So you're gonna get more, tulip poplar and a variety of other but the very distinct difference between
Oh, yeah.
what we got
yeah.
out
How
in
so?
Pocosin.
Well, and honestly, and it could have just been me. So like this right here, it had a more you had like a floral taste to it,
Exactly.
kind of florally,
Mhm.
you know. And then as you went, you know, this is like I said, basic raws. You can get very subtle, very smooth, and that
Yeah.
I mean, that was still smooth and subtle. However, you can still taste. I mean, there's variances in taste,
Yeah.
even though they're minute, but you can tell.
Yeah, it's almost like wine.
Yeah.
You know, wine is all pretty much the same elements.
My man.
But you know, on one side of a vineyard, one side of a hill will have a different flavor.
Well, it's just the same. I mean, if you buy a wine from Napa versus a wine from up here
Exactly.
in the Virginia, you know, the Virginia Charlottesville area, you're gonna have a whole different setup.
Exactly. All right. So this, and now we're getting into regional. So we'll try a couple on regional. So this is out of Lexington, Virginia, and now it's labeled. It says that it's clover honey. Now that may be the primary source of forage, you know, that the bees use, but nonetheless, it will be anything they can get into.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but again, same general region. We're about 200 miles away.
George, you look like you're savoring every little morsel.
Definitely trying.
Yeah.
Now this one almost has like a caramel, type of finish to it. To me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And though it's labeled clover, I'm not picking up on a strong clover flavor. And again, I think that's because of the variety of forage that they're getting into. Out in that area, there's a different variety of things that they can get into.
Now, what is it that they're able to? What makes it so they can say that it's clover? Is it just because that's the
primary forage?
Okay,
right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I had an interesting conversation. I wanted to bring a sample of cotton honey. Now that's something that's really kind of unique to this area, of Virginia. However, so when I reached out to the apiary and spoke with the gentleman out there, GMO have basically kind of taken away from cotton honey because they've genetically modified the seeds so that there's less nectar that's within those cotton plants. So it used to be aphists and the farmers, had this great, mutual thing, because, the bees would be out, pollinating, and you'd have these great, cotton crops. But now, because things are genetically modified to grow faster, bud more, and, and do all these different things, it's the result is that there's less nectar, for them to draw on. Okay. So it's really nothing that an apiarist, can really take advantage of.
Wow.
So did you notice more clover in this one? Or is it
I couldn't really tell the difference. It was kind of really almost identical.
It's a little different, but not.
Yeah.
All right, I got some already.
No, you good?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say there was those two were pretty close. This one to me had more clover element to it. And our real quick note on that. So this was last year's. The year before, we had put in a big patch and planted 6 varieties of clover right next to the enclosure. And so for that year, the girls just went crazy. All over that clover and everything else. Yeah. And that changed the flavor of that honey because there was more of that. And the master gardeners, they're always rotating what types of plants that they're growing over there. So then that changes it. Yeah. So the last one we'll try, this is called knotweed honey. And you'll notice right off the bat, it's darker. And so the darker the honey, the more antioxidants that are contained in it. So there are some folks that have a variety of issues medical issues will seek out this type of honey. Now, it's not local and it's not regional. This actually comes from Massachusetts, but because we don't have knotweed as as a primary source of forage for the bees, but it does have a unique flavor. Knotweed, correct?
What is knotweed?
Knotweed. It's a weed. that grows in a northern tier cooler region.
Okay.
I honestly I'd have to Google it.
You'll have to put up a screenshot of what knotweed is.
Yeah,
but
I'll check.
But B Yoda he carries this because he has a few folks that have that rely on honey. They use a lot of medicinal types of
that tastes medicinal.
Kind of like Vicks Formula 44D. What do you?
I mean, it's definitely
that's so different.
It is it?
Almost has like literally like a cough syrupy flavor.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
For me, it was molasses. It almost has molasses.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is that kind of.
But again, this is higher in medicinal value.
Yeah, I can definitely taste it.
So medically, the medical community are doing a lot of things with buckwheat honey. They say that has the probably the greatest medicinal benefit. So they're really studying and analyzing that to try to get the best of it.
Wow, that's crazy.
But cool. So the bottom line is, try if you're suffering from allergies, I highly recommend getting some local.
So if I drink that whole jar, would it make me better?
Well, it's more of the building up, building up your immune system and supporting it as opposed to
this year the allergies have gotten me like no other. I think the whole family. I mean, last year, a couple years. I mean, the 3-4 years that we've been here, it hasn't really been that big of a deal. But this time around.
Yeah,
it feels like we're dying.
Well, there you go. Well, explore the local raw honey.
I'm gonna take the raw honey home and be like, guy said to eat the honeycomb, all of it.
Also, Jose, something that I know you'd be interested in is there's actually a local brewery that makes beer out of honey.
Yes, and it's award-winning. And I have to say it's my favorite.
So is it like an actual beer? Or is it more of like a mead?
No, it's beer.
Okay.
It is.
What is
this
called?
Look,
what is the name?
Jose.
Well, I don't know. Are we allowed to do those kind of plugs?
I'm like,
okay. All right. St. George's Brewery. It's not very far. Just on With Creek. The backside of NASA, right there. And they have a honey mead lager, and they've won awards with it. I see it every now and then at Beervana. I've seen it at Costco.
Costco has them by the cases. You can buy it by the cases at Costco.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I don't know if they still have it. But a lot of times they have, kind of like bulk buys and that type of thing. So I'm seeing it more and more. Okay. But every time I go to St. George's, where we have a lot of the CBA meetings, that's kind of our epicenter.
I like it
because the president also, works there. Is good friends with the owner.
Okay.
But yeah.
So they use the local honey then, I'm assuming, right?
Oh, yeah. In fact, he has an apiary right there at the brewery property. I believe he has about 10 hives there.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. 10 hives. Yeah. When we get off camera, I'll share a story about that.
Not suitable for viewers.
Plausible deniability.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, this is great. Thanks for bringing all this, Chet. And I mean, it really looks amazing. I can't wait to sample it.
I can't. I'm not allowed to.
That's great. Well, till next time.
Till next time.
Thank you for joining us this Sample Saturday. Is there a product that you have a question about? Or maybe a suggestion for future sampling? If so, post them on the Fit Life Show Facebook page. Till next time, this is the Fit Life Show Sample Saturday, brought to you by Fit Bodies Unlimited. Get fit, stay fit.